What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're back in the shop and we're going to be working on Patch Adams here. This is my 1997 Jeep TJ that I took the tub off and just kind of made it into a go-kart thing. In the last video that I did on this, I put the 35s and the bead locks on. I put in these Moto-Built gussets with the bottle opener. And also I put on these Moto-Built steps with some braces right there. So this is gonna kind of be where I enter the go-kart. So since that video, I've just been kind of coming in here and helping Patrick with his Comanche. But last night I ended up putting this dash together. And basically what I did was I took this super light aluminum paneling that I got at Lowe's and just cut it out and welded a piece of metal right here to put some self-tappers to. And so that's probably gonna be my dash. So you can see another angle of it right there. But I wanted to put in a dash right here to put like my computer and stuff up underneath it, because there's a lot of stuff that I really don't want to be getting wet, like when it rains and whenever I wash this thing. I just kind of want to put a little barrier between the computer and some wires and the elements. So I do have this center console on here. I think what I'm gonna work on tonight is I'm going to mount this console. I'm gonna mount the shifter, and I'm also gonna be putting in these super cheap gauges in here, and we're gonna kind of go all through that and how I'm gonna get that to work. So I have the shifter all mounted, and it's probably the most solid thing on this rig. That ain't going nowhere. Now I'm gonna try to mock up this center console. I already have some bolts right here, but I need to at least put one up here so that way it won't bounce or anything. And I'm probably gonna end up putting two. But you always hurt yourself when I'm filming. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and just try to put mounts, because you see this console right here, it has little mounting tabs, but the only thing is I don't think I have anywhere to reach my arm in and tighten them up. So I'm just gonna get this put in and get these lined up back here and see kind of where it lands according to these. Look, this console even has a Ford emblem right there. This is a Ford center console. We could be heroes. Trying to see exactly where I can mount. It looks like it's gonna mount right there. There's a plate already there. Luckily that plate's already there. I can just kind of mount to that plate. So I have made the hole longer. Made it longer. so I made this longer and maybe I should have chose a different color than black. So I've pretty much got it marked where I'm going to be drilling holes to mount it to, but I had to make a little indention for that firewall right there. So I'm going to see if everything just kind of plays nicely with each other. That's pretty much perfect right there. There's going to be. And then that little notch, that brought it down. Oh, sick. That looks really good, actually. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get those gauges in, and I'm thinking about putting the gauges like right here and using these holes right there that are that's in this center console and running my wires through right there, because I feel like that'd kind of give it a clean look. I thought about putting the gauges underneath this roll bar. and I still might, but I feel like, you know, there's these two open holes right here, and I feel like that would give those holes purpose. So we kind of had a change of plans. I had originally thought about putting it right here, but I was gonna have to bend it back, and I don't know if I want to do that. And then I started thinking about it. If I put these gauges into this center console, and I plan on taking the center console in and out, I'm gonna have to take the gauges off. And so I'm thinking about just going the lazy way and just putting these bad boys right here. And I don't see a problem with that. Put some self-tappers into this and roll. And this thing's lucky it's getting gauges, honestly. So I have the gauge cluster mounted underneath the dash, and now we're going to start getting these gauges working. And the first one that we're going to start working on is the voltmeter here. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to tie off the positive to one of these keyed on positives from the existing wiring harness, and then we're just going to ground it, and then we're just going to, you got a black and a white wire there, and that's going to be the lights to illuminate this. And Key and Patrick are making me light it up. I wasn't going to. They're pretty much making me hook up these wires. Oh, muscle man.
Yeah, you can go ahead and put that through and put the collar on.
No! If I smell that, I'm filing an assault charge. So we have the voltmeter working, and let me show you. So as soon as I turn the key, that will come on. Yeah. It's kind of low on volts. You can see here, we're just kind of keeping the wires tidy. We're going to, of course, make them tidier.
Probably put them in a loom.
Yeah. Wait, did those lights come on? Why didn't these come on? Did I splice through the wrong wire? All right, so apparently I tapped into the wrong wire, but now you can see whenever I turn the key, lights up. So got that. Now we're working on getting the temperature sensor. So in the kit, in that gauge kit, it comes with a thermostat sensor right here, and we're just gonna pop it into the thermostat housing right there. And we are putting some thread tape on the adapter because we're going to just try to get it to stop from leaking. So we're having to put a adapter on top of the adapter because the probe right here is a little too long. So we got to kind of space it out a little bit, which is okay. So we just put some really thick thread tape on there, and now we're just tightening everything up. Well, he's tightening it up. I'm just kind of watching. So we've got the temperature gauge all in, and we've got it plumbed right there above the fuel rail. And now we're taking off the oil sensor, the oil pressure sensor. And I think we're just gonna, we might just unplug that sensor. And we're just gonna try to run the sensor off the factory location right there. So the kit does come with some extra fittings and stuff to, you know, for us to use. And it did come with some plastic tubing, but I think I threw it across the shop. And I upgraded and got this copper tube. So if you do use these gauges, make sure that you upgrade and just get some copper tube, just because it's gonna work 1,000 times better. But make sure that whenever you put all this together, you take these little tapered washers. You put the tapered washers in and don't lose them. So you can see right here, Key's got it all tapped in. And now we're just kind of tightening it up. And then all we have to do is just route that copper tubing to the gauges. But hopefully it won't put this computer into a limp mode because it's going to recognize that it's not having any oil pressure. So, but we'll see about that. I've got the copper tubing right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this on right there, and then I'm going to take the little tapered washer and put it in there facing out. And basically what that's going to do is whenever you tighten this down, it's just going to basically just crimp that copper tubing and not let it, you know, wiggle or lose pressure or anything. So we've got that copper line routed right here, and now we're just pulling it up to the back of the gauges, and now we're basically just tightening it down. So now we just got to clean up some of that wiring, put some stuff in wire looms. All right, so it is the next night in the shop, and we stayed super late last night just trying to clean up all the wiring and just kind of make all the ugly wires that are normally concealed with a tub concealed on this go-kart. Basically, my method was cut one wire at a time and see if it still crunk up. So I'm sure there are better methods than my method of doing the cleaning of the wiring, but check this out. I think that's pretty daggone cool. So I put my fuses right there. I'm gonna put something to kind of make that, I think I'm gonna put something to make them like weatherproof or whatever. And then we tucked up some of the wires on the steering column. And then down here, you can see we tucked up all the wires. Then of course I put that diamond plate on top of it so, you know, everything's out of the weather. And speaking of out of the weather, so before I just kind of had my computer just like zip tied right here. So we ended up making a box to mount the computer and some of the other fuse boxes and stuff like that. And I think it looks super clean. Let me show you. We used the same little tubing for the firewall we used right here. And we just made this stuff super solid because you don't want any of this stuff rattling around or anything. And we're going to be putting a cover over this because that's just a wee bit close there, but it'll be fine for right now. But I don't want this thing to, like if a weld or something breaks, I don't want this to contact this and start a fire. But I think that looks awesome. And we are going to be putting some kind of splash guard right here, just because I don't want to be bombing through some mud puddles and mud and water go up all over the computer. So I want to protect that just a little bit. And what's cool is that I'd been looking at buying a shifter boot for the four-wheel drive lever, and I ended up using one of the wiring harnesses boots that goes through the firewall, and it works perfect. And it's also going to keep it from rattling around and stuff because it's pretty tight on it. So now it's only able to go up and down. Tonight, what I want to work on is I want to figure out something for the lights. I want to go ahead and start figuring out how I want to do my lights and everything. So I'm going to be running, I do want an interior light, and obviously I want headlights, and I want to figure out some fog lights also, or maybe some running lights or whatever. So look what came in the mail today. I literally ordered this last night off Amazon, and it came in today. So what's cool about these are they're waterproof, and they're basically made for Jeeps and side-by-sides and stuff. But it's basically, I think this is called like the 8 gang or something. It's pretty much just a plug-and-play system that you just hook a positive and negative to the battery. It comes with a mounting bracket. Oh, it comes with a screwdriver. Dude, that's awesome. But it basically comes with everything that you need besides the lights to run lights. So what you do is you take these crazy stickers, and whatever you designate the sticker to, you just put the sticker on it. So that's pretty cool. So I think we're going to work on getting this inside of there tonight. Window wiper, a shower, a fish box. We got to install a fish box on this thing. much have the whole aux beam system wired in, and we just have it all mounted right here. So that way, you know, easy access to get to it. That way, if we ever want to, you know, put more wires or put any more lights or anything that needs to be electronically controlled, and then we can, you know, feed the wires in directly right here. And I feel like that's like the absolute perfect place for it. And check this out. So while Key was mounting that, I was working on mounting the headlights. Click the high beam button. Check it out. So I've got a couple of lights that haven't come in yet. I do want to do something in the rear. I'm probably not gonna do brake lights because I don't really care. But I do want some sort of like a chase light. And I got a pretty cool idea of what I want to do with that. And I'll wait till it comes in to show you. And I also want to do some fog lights, and I want to do some sort of rock lights at some point. But I probably won't do rock lights anytime soon. That'll probably be after this thing gets tried and true. So what we're messing with now is we want to figure out how we're going to cover up all that wiring, because we don't want mud and dust and water getting all into there. So we think we're going to put something like a little panel, like a little triangle right there, out of like aluminum or something, just something super lightweight. That looks sick like that. And then I think we're gonna put panels right there just to keep, you know, dust and mud and dirt from going all over the driver and passenger. And like I said, we're gonna put some panels right there eventually to keep all the elements going in there. I'm going to basically take these zip tie tabs from MotoBuilt and weld those on, but I'm not gonna weld them on the way that they're intentionally made. So these like go on like tubes and stuff, or anything really, so that like if I wanted to put a zip tie something right here, I would just fill in that rosette weld, and then, you know, you have a spot to zip tie. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically flip this around. So I'm just using this as an example. Like I'm just going to weld it like this, and then I have a bolt hole to weld on my piece of cardboard that will soon be a piece of a street sign. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use street signs, which is aluminum, and which is super light. It's super cheap, because I want all these panels to be removable, and I don't want to just put one piece on here, because I feel like that's just going to take away from the go-kartness of it. But I'll weld these like right there, you know, like maybe one here, two here, one there. And then I just have to reach in and bolt them in and bolt them out. I could go as far as welding a nut on the back of those. So Key is tracing out from a piece of cardboard a stop sign. We're just going to take one of these bent ones right here that we possibly could use, but we don't know. We don't know yet. So we're going to cut this out and see what it looks like on there. I've got this cut out right here, and obviously it's going to go, you know, like that, but I needed to figure out my spacing. So what we did was we just kind of just put these in certain spots, and then, you know, marked them, drilled them out. And my plan is to, like I said, I'm going to be tack welding these on this way. I'm gonna be tacking them on like this so that I can get a bolt through it. And let me show you what my plan is. So this is it. This is how it's going to look. And I'm going to put some tack welds on the back side of this, so that way whenever I put them on there, I can just take them off real quick with a impact or something like that. I don't have to put a wrench behind it. And I think that's going to make it 1,000 times easier. So that's what I'm going to work on now. So I'm just going to be taking some vice grips and holding them on. I've got my welding table grounded, and then I have a clean welding surface right here. So now all I have to do is ground it and weld it. So that's it right there. I think that's gonna work out just fine. Now I've got to make a bunch of these. So what my plan is I'm going to put the bolts and the threaded pieces right here, the little tabs. I'm gonna go ahead and put those in, and then I've got to figure out exactly where I want it to go because I want it even. You can see the backside of the stop sign right there. That'd be kind of cool to have it out, wouldn't it? But we're professional. This is a professional shop. We do professional things. We have the stop sign going on the inside. See, I think it's gonna be super cool because I'll be able to like polish this or maybe do some kind of design or something like this. Kind of like the Poison Spider, like tube fenders. Because this is like a legit tube fender.
It's legitness. Yeah.
So I have the tabs on the back side right here, and now I just need to tighten them up. Just like that. And so I'll be able to put this on here. Just like that. Kind of work it a little bit. And that. That needs to go down. All right, so I trimmed it down some so it fits a little nicely, nicer. And now I can basically see where I need to tack weld those pieces. And I may have to come back and just, you know, smooth the corners and stuff like that, but I can always take this back off like super easy. But I'm just excited and I want to go ahead and get this tacked on. Personally, I like the panels. I feel like it kind of covers up some of the ugly. And look, to me, it feels like you can focus on the actual tube work and everything, not so much like the industrial side of this build. I think it's super cool. So now I'm just gonna hop over to the other side and go ahead and knock that one out. I feel like the passenger side was a little easier. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same thing for like right here because I kind of want to cover up this ugly right there. And I don't want people to be looking at my toes and stuff when I'm driving. I pay for stuff like that nowadays. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start working on these panels right here. I'm kind of undecided if I want to put panels back here. I kind of want an open feel in the back, but up here I definitely don't want. I want to have some sort of protection for the driver and the passenger. So like I don't want to be slinging rocks and they go like in my teeth or something. So I think I'm going to basically do the same method that I did for this on this panel right here. And my mom got me a stop sign for Christmas, and I think I'm gonna use that. Because that's gonna take quite a large piece of stop sign. But I think it's gonna be super cool whenever you walk up and you look in, it's just gonna be like street signs and stuff in here. So it's gonna be like a cool little floorboard, a cool little center console, and then street signs. Check it out. Got both of the panels in. They are different colors, but hopefully I can kind of sand them out. I don't know if I'm going to leave those raw aluminum or if I'm going to paint them. But I think I can clean those up to make them look like that one. And you might be asking yourself, why the heck did you cut a huge hole in the bottom of this one? That way your bedroom slippers slip right in, and that way you can use the Moto-Built step plate right there. So I'm gonna do it on both sides, and it's gonna make it a little bit easier to get in and out of. So my plan is to put your foot right here, the hand right there, and then just, yeah! But I'm gonna tell you, my favorite part of these panels is this right here. Dude, that's so cool. I really dig that. What I think is gonna be so awesome is when people come up and like look inside, they're gonna be like, oh crap, that's street signs. In hindsight, I wish I would have put them right side up, but that's okay. I'm not changing things now. Maybe I'll put these right side up. I don't know. Honestly, the way that I cut them is the way they're gonna be going in here. Sitting in a tin can. I'm recording.